The next speaker is going to be Dhruva Thapa. There's also going to read us a poem. So if you come up and share some few words with us, that'd be great. Will you? Dhruva Thapa.
Namaste. First of all, I would like to thank Bay Area Alternative Press. I have been involved with the press for almost 5 years. Once I met Guy in Lions event. He asked me to come and see the press. And when I came there, from that day, maybe it was in 2010, from that day, I never stopped going to the press. So, I really thank the Bay Area Alternative Press for providing me a very comfort zone to meet, greet, and work and inspire myself to write. First of all, I'm from Nepal, the country in between China and India, and recently you might have heard about the big earthquake that affected 100,000 people, and 9,000 people died on that event. And unfortunately, there were a lot of aftershocks after the quake. So in the meantime, I was in the Bay Area Alternative Press working for my book, The Dream We Had Together. And this book is in my hand only because Bay Area Alternative Press was there. Otherwise, this project would never complete. First of all, I would like to give a round of applause for the Bay Area Alternative Press, all the volunteers, all the members, please. And I would like to recognize Crystal Lee. I would like to stand up for a while. She is the one who read my all poems, walked, and spent a couple of hours. I don't know how many hours she spent. It's not hours, it's days. So many days she spent. And she walked as if it is her own book, because she has put a lot of hard work to make this book complete. So my special thank goes to Crystal Lee. At the same time, Nate, who is also the designer of the book, he worked so many hours to prepare the books. And the cover is designed one of my students, because before coming to the United States, 12 years ago, I was a teacher in Nepal. I had to teach there. And at the time, I had one small student whom I taught in 4th grade. All of a sudden, I met him in Facebook. Right now, he is in Finland doing his master's degree in computer science. And he offered me, I want to work for your cover design. And this is the picture that he did for us. So it's a great work. So this proves that Bay Area Alternative Press is great to unite the people, to make everything possible. All the volunteers, all the friends now have become a part of my life. I accept them all as my friend, not only friend, but a family member. So thank you so much to provide me this great opportunity to work with you, to support you, and definitely you might have enjoyed the chicken and rice that is cooked in our restaurant, Taste of the Himalayas. So these are the things that we do here, besides so many other things. And this book is my dream project that I completed with the help of Bay Area Alternative Press. And the latest poem that I have in this book is written after the earthquake. So if you permit me, I would like to read about this book. Thank you. Shivering in the Himalayas.
It was the sound of my cell phone that alerted me to receive a call. It was an international call. A call from my loved one. How could I ignore it? I heard a voice so hysterical, my hand started to tremble and rattle. I heard the faint voice in my ear, rolling down with my tears. My heartbeats were suddenly drawn, then only a grave silent tone, leaving me behind all alone. I checked on social media. There was a quake beneath the earth that shivered the Himalayan girth, pushing, grinding on its way, leaving nothing in the way. With everything falling apart, terror pierced through my heart. The eternal history of Holy God collapsed down into the mud. In a blink, our history and art, culture, civilization, all fallen apart. Crumbling down came the historical steeple, leaving only remnants for the people. In a blink, we lost all our treasures to the unpredictable disaster. After the catastrophic quakes, there came many aftershocks, and in the end, I had only one query: why must we endure an earthquake so scary? There is only one answer for it. We are given this catastrophe so scary to remind us for the power of nature, to remind us to care for Mother Earth's future, to remind us to care for Mother Earth's future. Thank you.
Dhruva, thank you very much for your poem and for your credit. I've got a few minutes, so I'm going
wanted to put a book together. She published a book back in 1964 called Poliedros, and translated to English. It's, I believe it's polyhedrons, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, polyhedrons. And for her, it's been a long journey coming to the US after separating from my dad back in 1960 in Peru. In those days, women stayed under the thumb of man, and divorce was not even thought of, you know. And so by 1964 she separated in 1960, and then in 1964 she said, "You're coming with me." And I was 14, almost 15, and I said, "I guess, you know, I have no choice." Is that a ukulele? And it's not. This is a jarana from the state of Veracruz. And a jarana has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strings. You know, the 3 middle ones are double. And this one happens to be a mosquito, the smaller version of the jarana. Y a Machu Picchu, vivo yo en Australia y siempre yo en Madrid. Por donde quiera que yo voy, siempre hay plantitas que regar, los árboles que hay que podar para tener para cosechar. Si tú quieres ser jardinero, dame una mano para sembrar. Hermanos, si hay que trabajar para el mundo poder alimentar.
Yeah. My name is Omar Rodriguez, as many of you already know, and I'm the operations manager for Bay Area Alternative Press, or BAA, as we call it. We made it to our 3rd anniversary. Not only did we make it, we grew. I'd like to thank Pastor Josh and Oakland City Church for hosting our event today, as well as Sister Barbara Howard, who introduced us to our church. We've known Barbara since before BAA was BAA. Guy knew her before he started BAA, actually. I also want to give a big round of applause to all the hardworking volunteers who have made this specific event happen. So I want to thank everybody who put all this together. I'd like to give a specific round of applause to Sylvia Stroh, who is our kitchen captain and did a tremendous amount of work putting a lot of this together. So, she's hiding in the kitchen right now. She's hiding. Okay. Oh, there she is. There's Sylvia. And Milena Krolchuk I hope I said it right, and who did a lot of the work with the preparation of the event, and she's also a letterpress artist. Now she's a letterpress artist thanks to BAA. And Ken McGee. Oh, sorry. One more thing she did. She did the flowers. Yes, in each bag there's a little letterpress print that you'll see. That is Milena's print. She learned how to use letterpress at BAA to print them. And also Ken McGee, who is around here somewhere. He's right behind me. He did the cover design for the magazine. This is a new issue of Press and Times, which is in every gift bag. Make sure you get one on your way out. And he also did the last one too. So, and so I also want to thank many of the other people that made this event happen, because it took also a lot of people driving volunteers, driving food, driving stuff, picking up stuff, and so it took a whole community effort to make this happen. And of course, Dhruva Thapa, who helped to cook much of the food, and thank you for those kind words earlier today. Definitely very appreciative of the work you do. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to explain a little bit about where BAA came from. Now, some of you already know, so bear with me, but this is for those who don't. Back in 1975, there was, in Oakland, there was an organization called California Homemakers Association, or CHA, which was part of basically an effort of low-income workers to address poverty conditions. And they were mostly poor workers living in West Oakland and in Oakland in general. And as we see today, poor and working people, especially those of color, get poor representation in the media. And they primarily get any reporting when there's violence, crime, or accidents. In fact, the official poverty rate in the United States is about 16%. But the actual representation of people suffering from poverty in the media gets only about 0.2% of actual reporting. So that's about how much. There's 16%, and the media only cares about 0.2%. So they report about terrorism and other scary things, but they don't report about the positive things that people are doing or were doing to improve their lives, to change the condition of poverty. You don't get positive publicity when you start asking who's making money off all the gentrification that's happening. We see it in Oakland, in Berkeley, and in San Francisco. I mean, it's all gentrified. And that's why all the artists moved here to Oakland. That's why there's such a rich artistic community here. And you don't get positive publicity when you start asking, why is medical care so expensive? Why is education so expensive? Okay. Why Macy's houses mannequins in temperature-controlled rooms while homeless people rot outside? It just doesn't make sense. What do you think? Wrong thing. Anyways, but back to BAA's story. The thing is that these workers had to go to a hearing on wages of workers and hours of care for what would today become the IHSS program, or in-home supportive services. Let me see if I find it. I don't have it. That's okay. Well, guess what? There was no Facebook or internet, and no cell phones. And even if these things existed, it was unlikely that anybody would be able to afford them. Today, 25% of California residents have no access to high-speed internet, not even on their phone. So they had to get the word out the old-fashioned way, through leaflets. So these workers approached a shop. Now, I know that some of you have not been to our office, but those of you that have, there is another shop called ACC Printers in there. And ACC Printers is, it was owned by Richard Shuri. Some of you actually remember him, some of you met him. I know a couple of people have, and I can see them right from where I'm standing. And they were looking for some place to print. And he said, I will help you print, but I'm a poor printer. I really like what you guys do, organizing workers for better living and working conditions. But you have to bring your own paper, and you have to run the presses yourselves, because I can't do it. And so that's part of the basis of how BAA got started back in, the idea, this was happening in 1975. But by 1982, Guy Anderson, which a lot of you have stories and have met him, he had visited another alternative press in the East Coast, and he was bringing to the membership meeting every week, we need to build a Bay Area alternative press. If you know Guy, he will repeat it over and over and over again. Because, yes, and I see David Wibbelsman is shaking his head, saying yes, yes, yes. And so enough members started participating and got an interest in it, because the media wasn't representing poor people. And so one of the people that said, I'll be on the board, I don't know what I could do, was Richard Shuri. Little did we know that he was planning to retire and that his kids didn't want the shop. So he said, why don't you guys move into the shop and keep the machines running and just let me retire. And so that's how we got our first office, our first place where BAA was operating out of. And some of you, you can raise your hands if you'd like, have actually been there and remember what that was like. I did, it was before my time. There's Carol. Carol said, David Lading in the back. And Delphina, I think, she raised her hand. So anyway, so this is kind of where BAA came from. And there's a lot of other things. I mean, you could say the rest is history, but we're making history now. We've added a lot of new staff to our efforts. We have Hattie Patricia Rodriguez, our administrative assistant, and we also have not just a lot more equipment, but we have this active participation from the community. From one example is Dhruva and the Lions Club, the Berkeley Lions Club. We've had participation from the local church community. And where we're going with all this is that we are going to be printing our magazine on a regular quarterly basis. Part of our efforts are to be able to improve it and do more printing in-house, to improve what we can do with the letterpress program and get more artists involved, because art has such a powerful way in which it can inspire others to participate. And as well as assisting other groups in publishing more of the things that need to be told, because many of the things that we get in the media, it's very sickening. People prefer to not watch television, prefer to not watch the news, just because they don't want to hear about all the negative stuff. There's no hope. And so part of what we know we have to do is we have to build solutions, and build a community, build participation, so the hope can be in our communities. And I encourage every one of you to come and volunteer, to come and participate. If you don't have the time, you can always drop a donation. We can take, any kind of donation in any form. Some people, they prefer to donate, party supplies or things like that. Other people, some of our members have donated cars. And it's a way that you can contribute to the effort, because what's the alternative?
Same old, same.
Yes, same old, same old. And that's what it's about. It's about having an alternative to the way that, to the message that we're getting in the media. And by being able to produce something that's completely grassroots, that's coming from the people, that deals with the needs of our communities. And if you can look around, the diversity, this is the diversity of our community. This is the diversity of Oakland. We have people from different parts of the world, from all walks of life, all different kinds of professions. And we can work together as a community, as a society, and that's what it's about. And so I encourage each and every one of you to come to the office and participate in any way you can. And you can talk to myself, you can talk to Patty, you can talk to Jesse, or any of the other people with clipboards, or David also, who's in the back. And I thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure, and enjoy the rest of the show. And we next have Kevin who will introduce.
You're doing great.
Let it rain, so she can let it out. All the pain trapped inside, like drums beating loud. Let her cry. Watch the tears fall down. Let them